Again, the question for us, did God one day say min tahtiha and another day tahtaha? Or was there one way and then somehow the way the text was transmitted, it had problems in it and we don't know exactly which one was. There are more textual variations which are more problematic. So this is a codex which are all both Quran, you can both get them. So you can go to Mecca and then you can get the Quran based on this tradition, and you can go anywhere else and you pick up the Quran from this tradition. And you find here, this is from Surah At-Tawbah, right? So this is one chapter in the Quran, and then what you find right here is this one right here versus this one, okay? So this is exactly the same verse, but then in this tradition here, in this codex, you have an additional min, additional preposition. Again, you don't need to know Arabic to see that this shape here, there's something before it, which is right here, which is missing from here. Right? We're talking about Qur'ans printed nowadays, okay? So you pick up the Qur'an from that tradition and you would find there are certain prepositions and particles which are not available in the other traditions. You know, when the people were copying the different, codices and they were giving them, to different multiple destinations. However, regardless of the origins of these, whether they were intentionally put there or they were typos, they became part of the tradition. So if you want to memorize the Qur'an and recite it based on the Meccan tradition, you have to basically say min tahtiha. Okay? If you are reciting according to the Kufan tradition, you drop the min and then you change the case ending. Again, you say tahtaha. The point here is you have a particle which is not there. Again, the question for us as a theologian, you want to think, okay, this is the word of God, this is the speech, this is how it was transmitted to the Prophet. Did God one day say min tahtiha and another day tahtaha? And then our job and what Muslim scholars were trying to do in the past 1200 years, try to figure out, was there one reading more solid or more justified grammatically, textually than the other reading, or both are equal? When they hit a dead end or a wall, when they hit a dead end or a wall, when they hit a dead end or a wall, they would say, well, there is really not a big difference between this one and that one. So let's include them both. There's no harm. And you would have different legal scholars and theologians. They would say, well, as long as it doesn't really change the message, like the core of the meaning of the text, it doesn't really matter if I say from beneath or beneath. It's all the same. When they hit a dead end or a wall. However, grammarians, they were very uneasy with that. Like, what do you mean it doesn't matter? Of course it matters to me. It's a particle. You are talking about a whole particle missing from the text. I can't just get rid of that particle and say, well, I will ignore it. And this is why you have this division between grammarians, Arabic grammarians, and theologians. Grammarians would challenge the system of the 7 readings. They would tell you, this reader, he didn't know enough Arabic. This reader doesn't know Arabic grammar very well. I don't accept the reading of Hamza Zayyad or Al-Kisai because they didn't really study grammar with Sibawayh, or the great grammarian, right? And this is why, if you go back to the theologians, they would respond to the grammarians. Oh, you infidels, you are not, you are secular grammarians, you just care about your a, u, e, genitives, nominative, subjunctive. This is the word of God. Of course, it's a particle, doesn't matter. This is what God revealed to us. And this is very obvious. You read any work on exegesis in the Islamic tradition, and it's just like full of battles, between the grammarians and the linguists with the theologians and the exegetes.